Are you losing mom to a cult? That's the focus. Quickly, Sandra, list some of the things you found so offensive about Scientology.
Well, they went into one of the real estate salesman's office and totally took over his office. I mean, just took their desks, their phones, walked in, demanded money. This was Richard Stewart. This was about 8 years ago. And it was devastating. They tried to separate this man, in this marriage. And, there were other people, but he was the most prominent person I know that was affected by it.
Susan, your organization is, to say the least, very controversial. You've heard here how Sandra and Sherry claim to have been victimized by brainwashing, mind control techniques, and how Scientology is nothing more or less than a cult. Your response?
Well, first of all, I'm not actually representing the church itself. I'm a businesswoman and a Scientologist. So I'm really speaking from that viewpoint, from my own personal experience.
How long have you been affiliated with the Church of Scientology?
15 years. And I actually got involved at a very good point in my life, which is, it's interesting to me to hear about this whole issue of women supposedly being taken advantage of by various groups. I find it actually demeaning as a businesswoman to have that as a viewpoint, that women are so vulnerable as to be taken advantage of.
You don't think that women, after a divorce, a bitter, emotional divorce, separation, potentially from their children, certainly from the house and their style of life, that they are sufficiently traumatized as to be vulnerable?
I don't think any more than men, frankly. And I think the real issue here, as regards to Scientology per se, is that we're in the business of improving people's lives. That's what Scientology does and has always done. And we actually make people more self-determined. We are totally opposed to mind control. And in fact, interestingly enough, we believe that Mr. Hassan and his organization are actually themselves in the business of mind control. They're the ones that are kidnapping people.
What organization is that?
The whole anti-cult sort of organizations or groups.
I don't have an organization, madam, by the way, but I am concerned about destructive cults hurting people.
Okay, well, the kind of people that that you're representing, that you're involved with, Scientology helps people be more aware of themselves. People find out more about their lives and what they want to do in it. We're in the business, actually, interestingly enough, of keeping families together. One of the things that I do is marriage counseling. And we're very interested in people staying together.
Tell me, Sherry.
It kept us apart. I was a latchkey kid. I never got to see my mom.
Yeah, when I was in the briefing course, I was there day and night for 1 whole year. The briefing course is one of the longer courses in Scientology, and she's saying exactly what a Scientologist would say, because you're not supposed to be a victim in Scientology. So, to target women out and say women might be more vulnerable because of what's happening to them would make them sound like victims.
But I can say, as a professional psychotherapist, working with people going through divorce, that women tend to be much more in touch with their feelings and tend to much more blame themselves that there was something wrong with them, and that's why the marriage broke apart.
Dr. Ehrenberg, do you agree?
Exploit those
vulnerabilities. I agree very much with what Steve is saying, and I think also in our culture, and it's much more important for women to be connected. Women always want to get married, they want to have a relationship. We have many talk shows about how men aren't available and don't want to get committed. So breaking up in a relationship is much more damaging usually for a woman than for a man. It's true, as we said, that a man can also be very vulnerable at any crisis point in his life, but women tend to be more vulnerable because they want to be connected more, and also women are more vulnerable because they're more open to having their feelings discussed.
Let me just ask Susan, if you concede that there are many former members of Scientology who feel that the experience, and indeed the organization itself, are destructive.
Well, the thing that I have personal experience with are personal experience myself, hundreds of people whose lives have totally been changed for the better with Scientology, whether they've gotten the job that they've always wanted, the kind of family life that they've always wanted, a kind of personal fulfillment. and realizing of their potential that they had thought was really not very possible.
Okay, let me ask you the same question, Sandra.
Well, I would like to ask her about Hubbard's son, Quentin. Do you know about him and when he committed suicide? This is Mr. Hubbard's Class 12 auditor, his son, and Monica was in the Sea Org at the time he committed suicide. So she could tell you about that.
Well, the thing that I can tell you about is actual examples of people's lives.
But we're talking specifically about Quentin. Did you know about Quentin's death?
I have no information
well,
about
Monica
him.
Can tell you about Quentin's death.
Maybe I can throw a little bit of
Quentin Hubbard was my very close friend on the Apollo, and I have personal knowledge of 2 suicide attempts and how extremely depressed he was, how he wanted to be an airplane pilot, and he couldn't get away.
All right. I don't want to get off the point and get into specific examples. Hubbard's son, the son of the founder of the group.
I would like to add a little research light on this. Many years ago when Dianetics first got started.
Dianetics, the science of Scientology or the device of Scientology?
Scientology, right. I participated in a research study with the agreement of Dianetics and Ron Hubbard at the time. And we studied people who went into the basic Dianetics course, both before and after. And indeed, there were many changes that took place. However, the direction of these changes were not at all controlled. Some people got much worse in the original presenting problems, and some people got better.
Now bring that back to today's discussion. In women in crisis, is it exacerbating their vulnerability?
I think it depends very much on the individual what's going to happen. As the spokesperson has said, some people find Scientology helpful, but it can also be very damaging because in many instances it replaces adoration for a few leader figures for respect for one's
But
own
Hubbard
self.
says explicitly it's not hypnosis, and
Is it a
is
cult?
hypnotic techniques.
Is it a cult, and is it trying to recruit women in crisis?
I can
It
answer that.
certainly is a cult in the sense that there are many people who have that experience.
Yes, Susan, quickly, in fairness.
Yeah, Scientology is a religion. It's recognized around the world by governments. Even the IRS recognizes it as a religion. And it's helped millions of people, and
has hurt some undetermined number of others.
Right.
Right.
In my opinion, many
I can
millions
speak to the
more.
people that it's
We
been
must
helped.
take a break.